for economic reaction to the announcement made by the president. A very good evening to you, Mr. Levin, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Obviously, not much detail. The president saying that in the next couple of days, they will outline the conversations that have taken place in NEDLAC. What opportunities arise from us moving down to alert level 2? Obviously, greater activity, but what does it really mean for industries?
One of the key things is that we now have an opportunity to start implementing a lot of the plans that have been put forward over the last few weeks, and to really start pumping up some of the employment programs that have been spoken about. You know, we've been seeing lots of talk around public employment programs where you've got things happening in communities to, try and resolve some of the outstanding backlogs in infrastructure. And that's really important because what we don't want to see are massive, large-scale infrastructure programs that don't impact on ordinary people. So it really presents an opportunity to say, what can we do in communities to upgrade informal settlements, to fix the infrastructure in townships, and to really bring a change in people's lives as well as providing the infrastructure. And importantly, give opportunities to small businesses that so much need the demand for their services products that they provide.
So, Mr. Levin, the issue here is that there are multiple risks as a result of COVID-19. There's the issue of a compromised workforce. There's the high poverty rates. There's the inequality, economic vulnerability, and a fragile economy. So how are we going to maneuver through this? There's already the impact, but it's been said that it will be very difficult to gauge the real material impact because there's just so much that we don't know at the moment.
Yes, I mean, I think what's key is that we see the current efforts to protect employment continue. The TER scheme was extended, and that's been absolutely critical in preventing retrenchments. One of the biggest risks is that once companies close down, is that they go. And we really can't afford that to happen. So keeping the lights on and keeping companies going during the lockdown was absolutely critical. And the role of the unemployment benefit scheme was essential. But that can only go so far. And we need to see how do we use the resources that are already in the economy to strengthen the employment and to strengthen investment in the economy. Even before we had the COVID-19 crisis, we were sitting with underinvestment. We were sitting with aggregate demand being too low to sustain economic growth. We were in a recession before COVID-19 hit. So what we really need to see is that turning on the goodwill and the energy that we need to get investment going again, to get government, investing in certain activities that are going to have far-reaching benefits, and also to keep the employment up. We don't want to see a kind of economic crisis because of high levels of unemployment and retrenchments.
We've seen financial sector regulations being eased, for instance, but what more can be done just in terms of monetary and fiscal policy?
It's going to be quite a tight balance, and I think we've seen the Minister of Finance trying to walk that tightrope. There is obviously more that can be done, and the question is to what extent do we want to take risks and pass those risks to the future. If we hit a further recession, going into next year, then that has a long-term impact on the tax base and future growth of the economy. So what you really want to do is turn on the taps now so that you grow the economy and you maintain the balance between, the balance between taxation and debt and economic growth and the size of the economy, so that it's in proportion rather than seeing a contracting economy where you're ever reliant on borrowing funds in order to sustain new ventures. So what we really would want to see is, how do we put resources into the economy, grow the economy again, so that we keep the tax base going and employment growing.
Saul Levin, thank you so much for your time. Executive Director of Trade and Industrial Trade Policies. That was the economic reaction.